2022 has been a roller coaster for used and new car prices, but the good news is we are heading in the right direction and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But the question that I get asked all the time is what can we expect from both the new and the used car market over the next 6 months, and when will the best time be in order to buy that new or used vehicle? And so in this video, we're going to be breaking down just that, and I'm going to be going over my 6-month predictions on what the used and new car market will look like between now and Q1 of 2023. But most importantly of all, I'm going to be talking about why you shouldn't buy a used car today, despite the fact that used car prices have fallen. So let's get started. Now, like I mentioned, these predictions for this video for the next 6 months, so ending the 2022 year as well as going into the first quarter of 2023. And I've come up with these predictions based off of the research that I have done in both the used and the new car market, as well as just what I know as a consumer who is always looking to buy used cars. As you guys know, I have a growing car sharing fleet, I buy a ton of vehicles, and as a result, I have learned a lot about where car prices have been as well as where they're going. And so first, let's talk about new cars. Over the last 2 years, we have seen new car prices increase substantially, and the increase comes from a few different directions. First and foremost is lack of supply, due to production and supply chain issues, namely the chip shortage. This has in turn led to our second issue, which is above MSRP pricing. Because of the lack of supply that we've experienced over the last couple of years, if somebody wanted to get their hands on a brand new car, especially a hotly anticipated brand new car, the only way they were able to do that is by paying above MSRP. And this has led to even higher inflated car prices. And of course, the fact that car manufacturers have gotten rid of many of their lower end models, and as a result, the average price of a new car has increased because the availability of new cars under $20,000 today are much more limited than they were a couple of years ago. And of course, demand has also been a huge factor as well. The increase in new car prices isn't simply due to supply, but it's also due to demand. Over the last couple of years, people have had more money to spend than normal, and because of that, they've been buying new cars. And this has in turn caused a supply and demand disaster, causing new car prices to absolutely skyrocket. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, my prediction for new cars probably isn't what you want to hear, and I predict that new car prices will remain high. And this is because regardless of supply chain issues, car manufacturers have still gotten rid of affordable new cars and are instead doubling down on their more expensive, higher margin vehicles. Because of this, new car MSRP as a whole will not go down. As far as supply issues go, I do think that this will continue to sort itself out, but I don't think that it will be resolved in the next 6 months. But I do think that these supply chain issues, at least in the context of the automotive industry, will become much less noticeable on a consumer level. And this is because I believe that in the next 6 months, demand for new cars will also decrease substantially. And this will be due to many things, including the economy, a recession, interest rates, inflation, and more. And so, though I do think that we will continue to have a limited supply of new cars, at least for the foreseeable future, I think that that limited supply will be much more balanced out by a limited demand. Now, though I did mention that I do think that car prices will remain high in the new car segment, I do think that the days of paying above MSRP for new cars are very limited, if not over altogether. And along with that, I think that dealer incentives are going to be coming back. In fact, we are already seeing this today. So in short, when it comes to new cars, prices will still be high, but dealer behaviors will return to normal. Negotiating power will return much more into the hands of the consumer, though we will still have supply issues as a whole. And as far as when is the best time to buy a new car, to be honest, I don't really think that there is one, and I don't think that the new car market is going to shift extremely substantially between now and 6 or 12 months down the road. I think the big difference that we will see is that dealers will be more willing to negotiate, they'll be more willing to give you an incentive, and they'll be more willing to sell below MSRP. So if you can find a dealership today that's willing to sell you a new car below MSRP, then I would probably look to pull the trigger. If not, I would wait until you can find one, because in a few months, there will absolutely be more and more dealerships that are willing to do that. Used cars are where we will see the largest shift. Used car prices have been consistently going down for the last 6 months, and I believe they will continue to go down for the foreseeable future. But I predict that over the next 6 months, price decreases in the used car segment will accelerate, meaning prices will decrease much faster. For example, over the last couple of months, car prices have decreased by a few percentage points per month. But I believe that over the next few months, this decrease will go from being a few percentage points per month to being double or triple that. And we may even see some months where prices decrease by 5 to 10%. And there are a few reasons why I believe this. First and foremost is the recession. As the recession continues to take its toll on the average American, people are much less likely to buy a used car and are much more likely to fix their current car. With a recession comes lofty job security, and people become much more leery to make large purchases. This will absolutely impact used car prices. And the thing I think we all need to keep in mind is that we are still at the very beginning phases of a recession, and I think the economy will get much worse before it gets better. And of course, on a related note is inflation, interest rates, and cost of living. Life is very expensive right now, and people can't afford or can't justify car purchases, even if that car purchase is used. These factors will cause more and more of a decrease in demand, and as a result, we will continue to see used car prices fall. And as the recession gets worse, as interest rates continue to rise, which they are expected to do, car prices will continue to fall throughout 2022 and into 2023. But then that of course begs the question of when is the best time to buy a used car? And that time is not today. Now, don't get me wrong, used car prices absolutely are falling, but they're not where they need to be at a consumer level. And I like to compare the used car market today in October of 2022 to the 7 stages of grief. You see, whenever you look at the stages of grief, we are currently in stage 1 and 2, which is shock, denial, pain, and guilt. Used car sellers are in denial that used car prices are going down, and they are feeling the pain and the guilt of overpaying for cars over the last few months. And as a result, even if you're somebody who's in the market to buy a used car today, you may go to a local dealership or look at local vehicle listings, and you may see that used car prices are still relatively inflated. And even though all of the data shows that used car prices are declining, that isn't quite as obvious on a consumer level, especially not for the average car buyer. Because of this, you need to wait until car dealerships and car resellers are in the 7th stage of grief, which is acceptance. Used car dealerships and resellers need to accept that the days of selling cars for inflated prices are over, and they need to sell the cars for what they're actually worth, which is much less than what they've been selling for and may even be less than what they actually paid for them. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're somebody that has to buy a used car today, that used car will be a much better price than it would have been 6 months ago or 12 months ago. But if you're able to, I would wait closer towards the end of the year to buy a used car. Obviously, this may not be possible for everyone, but as dealerships come to terms with the fact that they need to offload some inventory, they will be much more likely to negotiate, and that is when you can swoop in and get a killer deal on a used car. The reality is the car industry is beginning to sweat, and this is reflective in earnings from CarMax, Carvana, and production cuts from brands like Toyota, GM, and more. The car market is shifting, they know it, and car prices are about to reflect it. But with that being said, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some insight into what I think could and will end up happening in the next 6 months in both the new and the used car market. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.